I'm going to start Dhammapada, one stanza, or one story, or one day. There are many things to learn. So if possible, you try to bring your Dhammapada from next Friday onwards. Not the big one, small one. You cannot carry that. The first stanza. What is the Pali word for stanza? Stanza. What is the Pali word? Gatha. Gatha means stanza. The sayings of the Buddha. Mano Pubbangama Dhamma Mano Siddha Manomaya Manasache Paduttena Bhasativa Karotiva Tatonam Dukkha Manveti Chattanga Vahato Pada. Now this is the sayings of the Buddha. The meaning. First we can follow the book. Mind is the forerunner of all evil states. Mind is chief. Mind-made are they. If one speaks or acts with wicked mind, because of that, suffering follows one, even as the wheel follows the hoof of the wild ox. Now let us use our own language, easy to understand. Mano Pubbangama Dhamma. Now this word Dhamma we had to learn. Mind is responsible for all the existing things in this universe, good and bad. Without mind, we cannot find any good things or bad things, especially human mind, because human mind has extraordinary intelligence which we cannot find in other living beings. That intelligence can be misused or abused or divert for good purpose, constructive purpose as well as destructive purpose. So the human mind is responsible for all these things that is happening here in this world. Actually, if there are no human beings on this earth, we cannot find all these activities, good and bad things. Then, Dhamma, we have learned the meaning of this word. Normal meaning is the teachings of the Buddha is called Dhamma. Why his teaching is called Dhamma? The Buddha explained the real nature of universal phenomena, natural occurrences. It is not a law created or given by any supernatural beings or forces. Natural occurrences explained by the Buddha. That is called Dhamma. Dhamma is not created by the Buddha. Buddha cannot create any Dharma. Dharma exists. But he realized the nature of Dhamma through his enlightenment. Another meaning of Dhamma is law. Dhammata, that which exists naturally as a law, universal law. This universal law also not created by another person. Take for instance, good action creates good result. Bad action creates bad result. This is universal law. It is not created by somebody. Now if I touch electric wire where there is a shortage, I get electric shock. So there is no God or Buddha in between this. I get a shock, I may die. That is the action and the effect. This is called universal law. It is not created by anybody. Now if I treat you nicely, kindly, politely, then you also extend your kindness, your sympathy, your understanding towards me. That is universal law. If I scold you by using dirty words, you get angry, you may scold, or even not in front of me, when you go back and you scold me. That is universal law. So that is what the Buddha explained. By knowing this existing universal law, your duty is to live in accordance with this universal law. Then you can lead a very peaceful and contented life without facing so many troubles and problems and difficulties and worries and disturbances. So knowledge is important for us to live by practicing or upholding this universal law, the Dhamma. So the sayings of the Buddha is here, Mano Pubbangama, mind is the forerunner. That means without our mind we cannot create either good karma or bad karma. Action alone cannot create karma. There will be reaction. It is not karma. Mind creates thoughts. Thought put into action, either by saying something or by doing something. How does mind create thoughts? That is very important. Feeling, identification or recognition, good and bad habits, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara. These are the words used by the Buddha. Feeling, recognition, and mental concomitant or wholesome or unwholesome mental activities. In simple language, good and bad mental habits. We have our own intrinsic or natural habits. Some of them are good, some are bad. It is not so easy for us to change our attitude, our character, our behavior, our temperament, because they are deeply rooted, life after life, not within one lifetime. That is why they remain as our habits. The small children, they have this intrinsic character, behavior in them, not given by their parents or anybody else. This is called mental habit. Small children get angry. Who taught them to get angry? Nobody. It is natural. Small children are jealous. Nobody taught them to create this jealousy. Some children are very cunning. They know how to steal. Nobody taught them how to steal. Some are very honest and very kind. Some are very cruel. All these are natural habits. Each and every person maintain their own character. So religion is important for us to cultivate all the good qualities and to eradicate, suppress the bad, evil thoughts and habits. There is no any other method without religion. So human beings use their religion to control their bad habits and to cultivate their good habits and virtues. So the mind creates all our activities. Unintentionally, without creating the thought that we want to do this, we cannot create either good karma or bad karma. That is why the Buddha says mind is responsible for this. Accidentally, we commit evil, we do good things. We experience some worldly reaction. But we have done unintentionally or accidentally. But such actions never become either good karma or bad karma from the religious point of view. Ideas, intention, thoughts must be there. Then, why this a statement was made by the Buddha? There was a young man who renounced his worldly life and became a monk. After becoming a monk, he wanted to meditate. He used his full effort, day and night. He made a strong determination not to sleep until he attained the highest stage of sainthood or arahanthood. So without lying down, without sleeping, whole day and night, he went on meditating and meditating and meditating. In the end, he gained what he wanted, attained the highest stage of sainthood. So what happened? Just because of that self-torture, without sleeping, he became blind, completely blind. So when he was walking here and there, The other monks noticed he killed so many insects and worms. Do you know, in India, during the rainy season, you can see worms come out from the earth. It's very hard to walk, not like in this country. That is why the Buddha advised the monks not to go out during this period, confine to their temples or monasteries and perform their religious duties in the monasteries without walking. Because other existing religions, the followers of all those religions very strongly upheld this principle, not to go here and there. When the monks started to go here and there, they criticized. They say even birds also collect their food during this rainy season and stay in their nest without going out. So why these monks always go here and there? So after that, Buddha gave this advice to avoid criticism as well as to maintain their cooperations and understanding. But this blind monk never knew that he was crushing or killing those insects and worms. He is blind. But the other monks came and reported to the Buddha. That particular monks every day killed a lot of ants and worms. He created bad karma. Because of this allegation, the Buddha had to recite this, explain. He said, he is an arahant. An arahant cannot create either good karma or bad karma, because they have no craving. We create both. We create lot of good karma for us to enjoy our life within this life and hereafter. So craving is behind. We do lot of good deeds because of our craving, to gain more in return. That karma we create because of our craving. But arahantas do lot of good deeds, but those actions never become karma because they have no craving. On the other hand, they never create bad karma, such as killing or stealing or any other kind of evil deed. They have no anger, no cruelty, no selfishness, no cunningness in their mind. So they cannot create karma. Not only that, whether he is an arahant or not, he cannot create bad karma by walking like this, because he has no idea. He never thought, he never created such idea that he want to kill. Because of his walking, many insects or worms may die. But he cannot create any bad karma unless he create the idea in his mind. This is very important for you to learn. Yeah, mano pubbangama dhamma, mind must come first. Thought must be there. Then we put into action. After that, that action becomes a karma. Unintentionally, we say something. without any idea of hurting others or accusing others or insulting others. But our way of talking may affect some people. They get hurt. They think that we have insulted or accused or blamed, criticized. So they create misunderstanding. But if we have not created such ideas in our mind that we want to insult or accuse, we have not committed any bad karma, although others misunderstood. Then, if we come to know that some people misunderstood our way of talking, then for courtesy's sake, we can apologize, nothing wrong. Just to clear their mind. We never had such ideas. So, there are three ways for us to create good karma and bad karma. Simply by thinking, creating thoughts, we create good karma and bad karma. What kind of thought? Our anger, we develop into hatred, ill will, or grudge, enmity. Then evil thoughts appear in our mind to harm, to disturb our enemies. All these thoughts create bad karma, although we have not done anything. Because of our jealousy, we create bad thought. We cannot tolerate. Then the evil idea, evil thoughts appear in the mind. Because of that intolerance, also create bad karma. And we crave for others' property. We think, how nice if they die. We can enjoy, we can take their property. This kind of thoughts create bad karma without doing anything. So mind alone creates good and bad karma. Then the good karma, we develop our kindness, our compassion, our sympathy, our harmony and understanding and cooperation and unity to live peacefully. All these good thoughts create good karma. The mind alone creates good karma. We extend our loving kindness or metta towards all the other living beings without hating them. We create good karma. Then the evil thoughts we transform into sound vibration. That is called speaking. The words come out from the mouth are the thoughts. The thoughts we transform into sound vibration, come out from the mouth. Actually, the thoughts come out from the mouth, but we say words because of the sound vibration. So if those words are wrong, wicked, cruel, vulgar, immoral, harmful, then we create bad karma. Because intention is there. Again we utter nice, soothing, very kind, very compassionate word to console others, reduce their worries, fear, disturbances from their mind. We give moral support for them to get rid of their worries and disturbances. We create good karma by talking to console others, to help others, for them to get rid of their problems and worries. This we can do when people are sick, when people have fear, when they were disturbed by others. At that time they need our support. We can give them our moral support for them to strengthen their mind or mental energy to protect themselves. We create good karma. Again, the thoughts we develop as intention. Intention creates vibration. Vibration runs all over the body. Then we raise our hand. That mental energy created thought. Thought developed into intention. Intention created vibration. Then we raise our hand or leg or take something else to harm others, to beat others, to disturb others, to kill others. The mind is responsible, started from the mind. So if the mind is trained, disciplined, cultured, it is not so easy for them to create such evil thought or wicked thought to harm others, to disturb others. A religion teaches us how to suppress them, how to control them, how to eradicate them by the same mind. Mind try to train the same mind. Another mind cannot do that. Now, you know your mind is very wicked. You know your mind is very cruel. Then, the same mind you use to wipe out the cruelty or wickedness from the mind. It is like this. Whenever you have some dirt in your hand, you can wash your hand like this. Same hand. Even without using the other hand. You can wash. Then the dirt can wash you. By realizing the nature of your mind, you develop your mental energy to overcome, to suppress, to control, to wash away the evil thought from the mind. But there must be a method. A religion is important for that. Then, mano settha manomaya. Mind is solely responsible for all our good and bad action. Without mind, we cannot create either good karma or bad karma. Manasache paduttena. If we do anything by using that wicked mind, cruel mind, dirty mind, Bhasativa karotiva. Bhasati means say something. Karoti means do something. By using that wicked mind, we say something or we do something. Then what will happen? Tatonang dukkhamanveti. They had to experience dukkha, suffering, bad effect. Because of the bad thought, bad words, bad action, we had to experience the bad result, bad effect. Who created this? Naturally we say God punishes us. Some people say Buddha punishes us. Buddha never punished anybody. He never do it. So, everybody believes that God punishes us. But the Buddha says, this punishment never comes from any God. As I mentioned earlier, this is a universal law that exists. When we violate, when we break this universal law, the bad effect come to us naturally. Just now I mentioned one or two examples I gave you. So our knowledge, our understanding is important for us to avoid this. How to handle, how to make use of our life without committing such bad thoughts, bad ideas, bad words and bad action. Here the example is given, parable. You have seen bullock cart and how that ox or a bull carry or pull sometimes very heavy load like stones and sand or irons also that poor animal had to carry. When the animal cannot run, beat, hammer, we have seen. So the bad karma is just like the bullock cart that we carry, that poor animal, the bull. Bull cannot escape, cannot run away, had to suffer. So in the same manner we cannot escape, we cannot run away from the bad effect if we have committed any bad action or bad karma or bad deeds. By praying to any god, by worshipping to any Buddhas, we cannot escape from the effect because our minds are responsible for that. That is why it is necessary to train this mind. Then this particular monk who become a blind man through his own action, not done by another person. The Buddha says, do you know why this monk has become a blind man today? He said, during one of his previous births, he was a physician. A poor lady who had some problem with her eyes came to see this physician. He said, if you can cure my sickness, I haven't got anything to offer you, but I will come and serve you as an attendant to appreciate your services. So under this condition, he has given her some ointment to apply. So after applying this ointment, she got cured completely. But this lady completely neglected her promise. She did not come back to see the physician. Physician was very angry. What he said? He said, your sickness may come back later. There will be another ointment for you to apply. He sent this message to her. Now she came back and apologized. After that, he gave another kind of ointment to disturb her eyes. Again she lost her vision, her sight. This is the bad karma that he has done. First time he has given this ointment with good intention. Second time he has given another kind of ointment with bad intention. So he created a bad karma. And that bad karma was hidden somewhere. Because when there are more strong good karmas, bad karmas always remain in the waiting list. When the chances are there, then the bad karmas come forward. Good karmas also like that. If bad karmas are very strong, good karmas remain in the waiting list. This is the nature of karma. So this particular monk, by torturing his own physical body for his meditation, he become a blind man. The cause is his own bad karma. This is the way how the Buddha explained. So in every stanza here in Dhammapada, there is a story behind, an incident. When the Buddha come to know this, then he said, do you know why? This is the reason. Then he give this sermon. Here he explained the nature of our mind, the way how we commit bad karma, the way how we do good karma, and how we experience good and bad result. So during our lifetime, we might have done a lot of good karma as well as bad karma. We do not know. Unexpected, unfortunate incident, occurrences take place in our lifetime, although we are innocent. Although we have not done any harm to anybody, then we think, why people come and disturb us like this? Although we have not done anything, but we never think that this may be the result of some of our bad deeds or bad karma that we have committed during our previous birth. Then we can avoid our hatred and anger that we, or suspicion that we create in our mind towards others. The Buddha could not escape from this. Many Arahantas could not escape the bad karmas that they have done during some of their previous birth. The Buddha had to suffer from 12 kinds of sicknesses. Then he explained to his disciple, do you know why I had to suffer? He had a severe headache throughout his life. No cure. Then he said, do you know why I had to suffer from this? During one of my previous births, when I was going somewhere, I saw a man was fishing. I went there. By watching, I enjoy how these fish jump here and there. I really enjoy. So by encouraging, enjoying for that cruel act, I have created a bad karma. I have seen this. Sometimes people come and shoot crows. When they started to shoot, so many people come and assemble. When the crows fall down, people start clapping. Ah, wonderful! Clapping hands. They enjoy. We should not enjoy cruelty. We cannot tolerate this kind of thing. If we have sympathy, kindness, compassion, if we also can understand the nature of suffering, how we feel, and other living beings also experience the same suffering, pain, then how can we enjoy? Then the Buddha also had incurable stomach trouble, purging blood. He died at the last moment also because of that sickness at the age of 80. But before that, he explained to his disciple, do you know why I had to suffer from this stomach problem? Exactly similar to the story what I said just now. During one of his previous births, he was a physician. A man who had a severe stomach pain, come and ask him to give him some medicine. Under same condition, come and assist him. So he gave some medicine, got cured, he also did not turn. Then again, this physician was waiting for that man to come back. He did turn up. He sent somebody to come and tell him that this stomach pain come back very soon. There will be another medicine for him to take to stop it. Then that foolish man came back. He was given another poisonous medicine to aggravate the stomach pain. Throughout his life he had to suffer from that stomach pain again. That is the bad karma that I have done. Because at that time he was not the Buddha. He was working very hard to become a Buddha. But occasionally he has done certain bad karma as a worldly man. He was not holy man at that time. So, his chief disciple, Moggallana, who was famous for miraculous powers, who could perform any kind of miracles. So our religious book says, he goes to heaven and come back and tell others, I met so and so, so and so, so and so, who have done all sort of meritorious deeds, Then more and more people started to come and embrace Buddhism, because there were many other religions at that time. He goes to hell. Go and see who are suffering there. Come back and tell, I met so and so, the butcher and this man and that man, how they suffer. Explain to others. Now this has become money to some gangsters and ask them to go and kill Venerable Muggalla. So when he was in a cave meditating, these gangsters tried to catch him. So by using his miraculous power, he disappeared. They could not catch him. Second time also they came. Again he disappeared. They could not catch him. Third time also they came. Then he wanted to recall by using his psychic power whether he has done any bad karma. Then he found out. This is the effect of a very bad karma that he has committed long, long ago. So he cannot escape. Although he is an arahant, even by using his miraculous power, he cannot escape. He must face it. So what is this bad karma he has done? At that time he was the only son in that family. His father and mother were very old and completely blind. Because of them, he did not get married also. He wanted to look after his parents. But the parents advised him, we may die very soon. Why not you get married? You must lead a family life. Otherwise your life becomes very dull. So after listening to them, he got married. But his young wife was not a very good lady. She started to grumble every day. They dirty the house, I cannot clean, wash and this and that, I cannot look after them. If you don't get rid of these two fellows, I go back to my own house. I cannot stay here in this house anymore. Every day she was nagging and grumbling. Now this man is thinking what to do actually. He doesn't like the idea of her going away also. Then what he did, he told his father and mother, we are very poor. I remember you have given a lot of money as a loan to so and so. They have not returned. Why not we go there and ask this for them to return the money that you have given to them? Then they say it is up to you. So they had a bullock cart and go through a jungle. When they came to this jungle, father and mother told him, you must be very careful. We heard here in this jungle there are so many thieves. People come and rob. They may come and kill us. If they come to attack us, to take away our bullock cart and bull, you must try to escape. Don't worry about us. We are old, we are going to die. So what he did, he wanted to take the advantage of this. because father and mother cannot see anything, completely blind. So what he did, he stopped his bullock cart and shouted, now robbers are coming. I think they are going to attack us. By saying, he himself started to attack. But he did not kill on the spot. As advised by the parent, he dropped them in the jungle and came back. They died in the jungle later, not immediately. This is the bad karma that he has done. And this karma was eclipsed, overshadowed by certain other strong good karma. And now this is the last birth for him. Even after attaining Arahanta, he had to pay. That is why, so he kept quiet. So these gangsters, by beating and beating and beating and beating, kill him. He died. The Buddha, when he came to know this incident, explained to other disciples. Now you can understand. Even Arahantas, my chief disciples, are also not free from this bad karmic effect. You must understand the nature, the danger of this bad karma. They follow us just like our shadow, life after life, until they catch us and attack us. So, as human beings, we can understand this. But other living beings cannot understand why they suffer, why they have to die. So they are unfortunate in that respect. They cannot think, they cannot understand, they don't know what to do. They do not know how to cultivate their life. But we have a thinking mind to understand. If we are suffering, then we can understand our sufferings may be due to certain bad karmas that we have done. Therefore, we must stop all our bad deeds. We must try to do more and more good deeds. This understanding is very important, so that we can cultivate and develop further and further. Again, when we enjoy our life while others are suffering, without food, without clothing, without shelter, they are suffering, but we are enjoying. Why? There must be some reason. The reason is, we have done some good deeds, some good karma during our previous birth. Those who suffer, they have not done enough good karma to maintain this human life. That is why they had to suffer. Then, by knowing this situation, we do more and more good karma to continue. On the other hand, what is the meaning of doing good karma? Doing some service to others, helping others. We can release others' sufferings. Then we create good karma. We can feed others who are starving. We create good karma. We can provide medicines and clothing and shelter to others who are poor. We do a lot of good karma by doing some service to others. So we have to make use of our life in this way to continue Because this is not the first and the last life. We have very strong craving for existence. So as long as craving for existence, craving for pleasure remains in our mind, rebirth also continues. There is the current pull our life, then continue one life after another. So one day when we attain arahanthood or sainthood or Buddha, by eradicating that strong craving for existence and craving for pleasure, then we don't want any more karma. Because the karma we need as our pocket expenses on the way. Because we are having a journey, staying here for the time being, for few years. After that we drop this house. When this house is rotten, we drop this one here and go. Enter into another one. We build another one. That is what we are doing. And we have dropped our previous house. We don't know where we drop it. Now build another one, this one. Now this one also getting old. After that, drop here. Then continue the journey again. So we continue this journey until we attain our final goal. But the trouble is, the Buddha has pointed out, there are two ways. Anya hi labhupanisa, anya nibbanagamini. The path to nibbana is one thing. The path to worldly pleasure is another thing. These two never get together. Two different directions. And which one you prefer? If you want to lead a worldly life, worldly pleasure, then you can continue. But on the way, you have to face so many troubles and worries and fear and disturbances and enormous troubles and problems. While enjoying, you have to face all these problems. Enjoying worldly pleasure is just like eating hot potatoes. You know how you feel when you eat hot potatoes. You never give up. You go on chewing, but burning. All our worldly pleasures exactly like that. But the path to Nibbana is another thing. When you get into this path, fear reduce, jealousy reduce, craving reduce, disturbances reduce, unhappiness reduce, unsatisfactoriness reduce, then become lighter and lighter and lighter, then the life become more peaceful, more happy, more contented life. But this path is not so easy to climb. It is true. What the Buddha says, Anyahi labhupanisa. To enjoy, to gain worldly pleasure is one path. Anya nibbanagamini. To attain nibbanic bliss, happiness, salvation, liberation is another path. You cannot bring together. That is why he said in his first sermon, the Dhammacakka Sutra, there are two things you have to avoid. Don't enjoy too much. If you enjoy too much, you become slaves to your senses and your craving, and you forget your spiritual development. Completely forget. On the other hand, don't suffer too much to be religious. Not necessary for you to torture your body to practice your religion. You can lead a normal life. You can take your normal food or normal clothing and your house and everything. Don't torture yourself, saying our religion says we cannot do all these things. We cannot laugh, we cannot sing, we cannot dance, we cannot take nice food. Our religion says no. Buddhism never says. What the Buddha says, you can lead a normal life, don't torture, don't suffer because of your religion. On the other hand, don't dance too much. Is the meaning of the first stanza in the Dhammapada. By realizing this, sayings of the Buddha, United Nations, when they wanted to draft their constitution, preamble to this constitution, they have written this: war created in the human mind. War is not created by God or devil. Human mind creates a war. But the same human mind can overcome the war and experience peace. Same teachings of the Buddha. They have repeated in the United Nations Constitution preamble. So when you see the world, who declare, who kill others, for what purpose? Everything done by the human mind. Of course we accuse planet, we accuse devils or ghosts, we accuse God. This is our excuse. But wicked human mind, when cruelty, wickedness, jealousy, greed, selfishness, these are the devils who declare war. So religion is for us to train this mind and chase away these devils from the mind. Then we also can live peacefully. We allow others also to live peacefully as understanding and cultured, civilized human beings. Otherwise, human beings become the most wicked, most dangerous living beings in this world. Others are not so dangerous. Now, today we can escape. We can escape from animals. Dangerous animals. We know how to escape. We can escape from devils and ghosts also. If our minds are strong, devils and ghosts also run away. When the mind becomes very weak, then the devil enter into the mind. So today we have learned scientific discoveries supported us to avoid this unnecessary fear of ghosts and devils and this and that. But we cannot escape from human beings. This is the nuisance now. One human being cannot escape from another human being. See how dangerous, how wicked, how cruel, how selfish, how their inhuman attitude. The reason is they were given education, that is job-orientated education. But those days, the main purpose of education is to cultivate discipline. Education means discipline. But today, no discipline. no morals or no ethics. They want to learn something, to find out a job, to draw a big salary. If not, they go and disturb others by adapting modern technique, scientific method to destroy, to kill, to burn. But primitive people never learned all these modern technique. They were innocent. They never had any education. They had to struggle for their survival, that's all. But today, human beings are not fighting, declaring war and all these problems for their survival. Extra authority, power to enjoy their life, but not for their survival. They can survive. So, primitive people had fear to find out their food. They had to go out for hunting animals. And they had no proper shelter also, and no clothing. And they had no any other problems. But today, we have more than enough things. Knowledge, education, religions, so many things. But human beings become more wicked, more cruel, more unreliable, more dangerous in spite of all these things. Now you can understand the nature of human mind. If this mind is not trained or disciplined, tamed properly, they will destroy. They will destroy the whole world. The belief that some people maintain, one day the God will destroy this world, if not the devil may destroy. Before that, I think human being will do the job. Yes, any questions? Sharing of merits. 211, isn't it? Yeah. Right. Imina punya kammena upadhyaya gunuttara acari upakaraca mata pita piya mamang suryo candi maharaja gunavanta narapica Brahma Maharaja Indaca Lokapalaca Devata Yamo Mitta Manusaca Majjata Verikapica Sabbe Satta Sukhi Hantu Punyani pakatani me Sukhanchati vidam bentu Kippang papeta homatam Imina punya kammena Imina uddisena ca Kippahang sulabhe ceva Tannupadana cedanam Ye santane hina dhamma Yava nibbanato mamam Nassantu sabbada eva Yatta jato bhave bhave Uju citto satipanyo සල්ලේකෝ විරියවාමිනා මාරා ලබන්තු නෝකාසං කාතුංච විරියේසු මේ බුද්ධාදී පවරෝ නාතෝ ධම්මෝ නාතෝ අරුත්තමෝ නාතෝ පච්චේක සම්බුද්ධෝ සංඝෝ නාතෝතරෝ මමං තේසෝත්තමානුභාවේන මාරෝකාසං ලබන්තු මා